and the winner of Best Teacher Ever, Allie Williams.
Wow. Best teacher ever. Thank you very much. So many people to thank. My parents, I really appreciate everything you've done for me. Who else? I don't have more time. I'm being told I have to hurry up. I'm okay, I'm fine. Today we're doing vocabulary on ways to thank someone. Thank you. In this lesson, we're only doing useful vocabulary, words we actually say. There are old-fashioned ways of thanking someone, for example, much obliged, or thank you kindly. But these days, you won't hear those, so I won't teach those. Okay, from formal to informal, ways of thanking someone. Let's start with formal, or someone does something really big for you, really special. You'll want to say these things. Thanks ever so much. Pronunciation. Thanks ever so much. Thanks ever so much. Repeat it with me. Thanks ever so much. I'll use this expression for people who I don't really know, or if someone does something for me which is so nice, so special, or helps me with a big problem. Thanks ever so much for your help. For example, I can't thank you enough. Pronunciation, link you and enough with a w sound. A w will intrude, sounding like I can't thank you enough. You enough. You enough. Of course, it sounds more natural to make that T in can't a glottal T, so altogether it sounds like I can't thank you enough. I can't thank you enough. Number 3, I appreciate it. Or modify it with I really appreciate it. This sounds very formal and it's great to use again with someone who you don't know, or if someone does something very special for you and you want to give them a big thank you. My natural pronunciation is London, standard London, and I would glottalize that final T, so it sounds like this. I really appreciate it, thanks. I didn't say appreciate it, I glottalized the final T. Appreciate it. So for that natural sounding London accent, this is an option. Wow, I'm really grateful. Sometimes I hear this when someone receives a present. I personally don't like to say this because being grateful is not something you say about yourself. It's something you show through your actions. Personally, I don't like it. Again, to sound natural, that T in grateful should be glottalized. It sounds quite strange if you say, I'm really grateful. No. And finally, to give that big thanks to someone, to say, wow, this was very special, you can say, thanks, that means a lot to me. Or this means a lot to me. So those are for formal situations or very big thank yous. What about other situations? Let's have a look. If someone gives you a present, a common response to this could be, wow, thanks. I mean, you shouldn't have. This must be very expensive. This expression is quite specific to when you receive a present and you want to say, you spent too much money, or you did something and this is very nice, you did too much. Then you can say, you shouldn't have. The standard way of ending an email with a thank you is, many thanks, your name. But this is quite impersonal, so for your friends, for your family, no, that sounds strange. But for a company, or to someone who you don't really know, then it's good. Okay, how about the quick, informal ones? Those little interactions in your day where you want to give a quick thanks. Cheers. Yes, for drinks, when we cling, we say cheers. But that's not the only use of cheers. In fact, it's the most common way to say thank you in England. Pronunciation, it's flat, one syllable, cheers. Cheers. And finally, thank you or thanks. Thanks is more common, And there's nothing wrong with just saying these. They're still fine. Everyone uses them all the time. But you can modify them. Get a bit creative. For example, when I leave a shop all the time, I will say, thanks a lot. And this is great. This is fine for a quick, fast interaction where you need to say thank you in a polite way, but quick. Let's modify it a bit more. You want to give an extra big thank you. Change a lot for so much. Thanks so much. Thanks so much. Again, it's quick, but it's still a big thank you. And commonly you will hear, all right, brilliant, thanks. All right, brilliant, thanks. But of course, we don't pronounce it like that. All right, brilliant, thanks. Now you and me, we are British. Let's modify it a little more with a compliment. Very commonly, you will hear, oh, you bought me an Xbox? Oh, you legend, thank you. You legend, very common. It's usually shortened to, you ledge. Cheers, mate. So thanks ever so much for watching. Please wait, we're not finished yet. I mean, how do you respond to these thank yous? What are you supposed to say from the other side? Let's rewind this lesson. How do you respond to these in a formal way? You have these options. Of course, in school, you're always taught, you're welcome. Or if you wanted to be super formal, you could add, you're quite welcome. Thanks ever so much. You're quite welcome. Another very formal one is, don't mention it. It's a very formal way to say you're welcome. Other options are, my pleasure, or not at all. Notice the catenation in not at all. It sounds more like no, ta, tall, not at all, not at all, thanks, not at all. And the informal ways of responding to informal thank yous. Of course you have no problem. My personal favorite is no worries. No worries. Australians, they are so cool. I have heard Australians say no wuzzers, which is a modification of no worries. I love this. I would say this if I had an Australian accent, because Australians are so cool. I'm not Australian, they are cool, so I say no worries. So, thanks ever so much for watching. If you liked that video, remember to click subscribe, hit the bell so you get the notification, you never miss a class again. Or when I go live, you'll never miss that. Hit the bell. Or if you want to see other lessons, click here.